How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am very excited to bring you a review of the newest album from one of my favorite bands. Guys, this just might be my album of the year. The Stories So Far are back with their long-awaited fourth studio album titled Proper Dose. Now, it has been over 3 years since their last release, and even as a massive fan since then, I've kind of been hoping that they would change things up and maybe mellow out a bit. I know that sounds crazy, I'm probably in the minority there, but I just mainly was hoping for them to start writing about other subject matter, basically about anything other than a breakup. And the Stories So Far have grown up a lot since then. I think most of their fans, including myself, have sort of grown up with this band, and Proper Dose sees a calmer, more honest Parker Cannon opening up in ways that we've never really seen before, talking about his addiction and getting better. That's what inspired Proper Dose. After shutting himself out from the world, getting high pretty much every single day, and just falling out of love with music, Parker finally had something to write about after his intervention. And this whole addiction thing was actually news to me and probably a lot of people, most fans, but if you'd like to learn more about that whole background with Parker and what actually went down with his struggles and his addiction, go check out the Kerrang interview he did recently. I will be linking that down below. I would highly recommend you guys read that. It's really interesting to kind of see Parker actually do a real interview that's super honest. But now that you know what this is actually about, let's get into the actual album. So I want to first say that I adore this album. Like, there really isn't a song on here that I dislike, and that's a pretty huge deal. It opens up with the title track Proper Dose, the shortest song on the album, but it really packs a punch, and I think a lot of the OG fans are going to appreciate this and be very pleased when they hit play on this album for the very first time. There's more than a few songs here that actually have that sound too. Not quite as aggressive or angry, but equally as catchy and singable, and even more respectable because the band just sounds so much more mature as a group. Some other tracks that are going to feel familiar to fans include two of the singles, Out of It and Let It Go, as well as Need to Know, and the closer, Lightyear. Now, those feature a little bit heavier instrumentation and more traditional vocals from Parker Cannon that we're used to, but at the same time they also feel very fresh and new, as they are still very different from a lot of their past material. We also get some softer, chill, more laid back and slower songs on the album that kind of even out the entire sound. Take Me As You Please, Upside Down, and Growing on You bring sort of a peaceful presence to the record, and it just feels very calm and comforting, and they're gonna have you singing softly to yourself for days. At least they have for me. Upside Down in particular is one that really stood out to me, and it was one that I actually didn't really care for on the first couple of listens when they released this as a single. Wasn't that into it, but once I hear it in the context of the album, and once I actually found out what this song and this whole album is about, it really kind of struck a chord with me. It's a very beautiful song about finally letting things go, putting things in the past, and just moving on. And it's actually really inspiring to see Parker writing about this so openly after all their past albums have been super aggressive, kind of bitter, and he's just kind of leaving that behind, and I have a lot of respect for that. Especially when he mentions his ex supposedly on these songs. He's finally over the bitterness. It's all love now. One of my favorite lines from this entire album. It's simple yet very effective in getting the whole message of this record across. Parker Cannon's 26 years old now, so I think it's time for him to move on, and that's what I was hoping for with this record, and luckily we got that. There's also a track here called Line that's mostly instrumental with some muffled vocals in the background that sound very chill, and it honestly reminds me a lot of their Songs of EP that came out a couple of years ago. It's super ambient, like acoustic and airy, and just very pretty overall. Normally I'm not a big fan of those type of songs that some people call filler tracks, but honestly this is one that I don't feel the need to skip. Another really honest song, and one of my favorites, is If I Fall, which shows him admitting that he has a problem and just basically making a promise to his loved ones to get better. He's acknowledging that he has hurt people and that he made a ton of mistakes here, and he wants to fix it. I love, love, love the last bit of the chorus that says, "I'm forcing myself to get better by fall. Will you be there if I fall?" While he knows he's let them down, he still needs his friends and family to be there to really help him through this. As I've said before, the subject matter of Proper Dose is very, very personal for Parker, and I think it'll be very eye-opening for a lot of fans once they listen to the lyrics. So after after taking a little hiatus and almost breaking up, the stories so far have strived to move further and further away from this pop punk box they've kind of been shoved into for their entire career. They don't want to be known as that anymore, especially Parker. He's always been known as like the pop punk guy, and even though people have rarely heard him speak, they just assume the worst about him based on things he's done. But I think this is going to be something that's going to kind of change people's minds, hopefully, once you really get to know him. Just like I said, check out that Kerrang interview. It's very interesting. But anyways, as I was saying, the stories so far want to be more than pop punk. They want to be treated as actual musicians, not just some little band in a subgenre. And I really think they proved and achieved that on Proper Dose. Now, if I have to have one complaint, it's that this album is too damn short. It feels like it flies by. I'm like listening to the first song, and then all of a sudden I'm on the second to last song and I'm like, what the fuck, it's almost over already. And while a short runtime like that makes for a very quick and painless listen, I just find myself wanting more by the end of it. What can I say though? I'm extremely pleased with Proper Dose. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this just might be taking my #1 spot for my favorite albums of 2018. I'm proud of Parker, I'm proud of the band for just taking risks and doing something different finally, not being afraid to change and not being afraid to be so honest and real in their writing. I've definitely gained a lot more respect for these guys after listening to the album. Now, my personal favorites on the record include Upside Down, Take Me As You Please, Growing on You, and Keep This Up. But I honestly love pretty much every single song here. But what do you guys think of Proper Dose? Be sure to let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorites, least favorites, what were your expectations? Did they exceed those or did they let you down this time? I'm really hoping a lot of people will be pleasantly surprised with this album, and I think they will for the most part. There's always going to be those fans that are stubborn and only want like the heavier, hard stuff from the past. But there's always going to be new bands to listen to for that, so if you can't grow with them, then fuck off. Anyways guys, that's actually going to be it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like on this video while you're here, and if you happen to be new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And with that said, I'll see you guys next time.